Hi all. So today we will be discussing what the Scrum Master will be doing throughout the sprint. There are a lot of people who say that there's no much work for the Scrum Master. It's more of clerical work. They just see to it the ceremonies are happening. They prepare reports. But friends, no, it's a very, very challenging task, I can say, especially if the teams are not matured enough and they need more facilitation. If the teams are new to Agile, or if there are a lot of dependent teams, if the backlog is not clear, it makes the Scrum Master's job more and more challenging. But I'm not saying I'm not scaring you that it's a very difficult job or anything like that. I just want to give a highlight on what as a Scrum Master I would do or most of us would do in this role. I would like to say that we have certain known tasks throughout the sprint and certain unknown tasks or those which crop up on a day-to-day basis based on the need or requirement. So first and foremost, as most of you would know, that we as Scrum Masters are expected to facilitate the Scrum events, basically the sprint planning, daily Scrums, your sprint review, sprint retro, etc. I've just made a small note here. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. I don't know if it's coming on the other way. We'll share it in the description box, no problem. I'm taking, for example, a 15-day sprint window, which most of us do follow. If it is a longer window, you get more time to do the things. But the tightest schedule normally for teams is 2 weeks. So I'm taking an example of 2 weeks for today's discussion. On day one, we have the sprint planning ceremony. So in this ceremony, we get all the developers, the entire development team, and the product owner in a meeting, and we decide on the sprint goal and the stories which have to be picked up from the product backlog for this for achieving the sprint goal, basically. Many times the challenge is coming up with the sprint goal itself. The team takes pretty long sometimes to come up with the sprint goal. But as a Scrum Master, I need to facilitate, ask right questions based on the pre-planning sessions or the backlog refinement session, which we would have had in the previous sprint, and ensure that the team has clarity on what they need to work on in the next sprint and what is their sprint goal. So that way, we ensure they come up with a sprint goal, and also we come up with pull the stories from the product backlog, which help them to facilitate achieve this goal. A background work of this would have already happened in the previous sprint, asking them, the product owner and the development team, to refine the stories, which will mostly be getting picked up in the next sprint. So here I'm assuming that this session would have happened in the last sprint, and the team already has an idea about what stories they're picking up and seeing whether all the required stuffs are on their plate to start development. To facilitate this and make the structure more clear, I follow something called the DOR, or the definition of ready structure, where we quickly go through whether they have all the required basics to start with it, whether the story is written in the required format, the acceptance criteria is present in it, and are the technical documents like a design document or wireframes or whatever, are these attached, or the links for these provided in them, are they estimated, is the story small enough to be completed in that sprint, and any automated test cases, if it's already been written, are these attached? So we check all these criteria quickly. Once the DOR is completed, then we pick it up to the sprint backlog. We move the story from the product backlog to the sprint backlog. Along with that, you also have to check whether there are any dependencies or blockers which might block you mid-sprint if it's not addressed soon. Okay, so this is about the sprint planning. Then every day we have the daily stand-up. 15 minutes. Everybody just gives what they were doing yesterday, what they're planning to do today, and what's their plan for tomorrow, or any impediments they're facing, or any other format you can follow to go through your daily stand-up. Just that it should address the concern whether we are moving closer towards the sprint goal, and there is no impediments, or if there are any impediments or blockers, or any place where they need facilitation from the Scrum Master side. Basically, whichever is external to the team, they're waiting for some response from some other third party. It could be anything. So these things are discussed in the daily Scrum that normally happens in the morning. In my team, it was a UK-based customer. So we had one daily stand-up in the morning for the offshore team, and one in the afternoon, that is like morning for UK. During that time, we had one more catch up so that we can abreast whatever we discussed and get the updates from the on-site team as well. And we introduced one more ceremony called the early view on the day 4 and day 8 of our sprints. It is not part of the Scrum guide, I know, but the Scrum guide doesn't tell you that you should stick to only the ceremonies which is mentioned there. If you feel something is more required, something is important, you can definitely go ahead and add this. What early view actually means is, once the developer develops whatever the story he's picked up, before moving it to SIT, we are giving a short demo or an early view of the functionality developed to the product owner little beforehand. Why we introduce this concept is, towards the end of the sprint, when we are having the sprint review or the demo, if they come up with a lot of comments, then incorporating them, pushing them again through all the environments became really, really difficult for us. And that too, it was towards the end of the sprint, and team was getting crunched up for time. And when the time is at a premium, people tend to make more mistakes, compromise on quality and things like that. So what we thought is, from the developer box itself, they give a quick view of whatever they've developed, and any changes which the product owner feels very obvious, they can immediately let us know, and they'll fix it in the developer box itself and then move it to SIT. So it really helped us to avoid the last minute crunch. So that's why we have come up with early views in day 4 and day 8. So why? Because day 4, day 8 is, by day 4, that is 1, 2, 3 days would have got over. Some quite a few stories would have got completed. And again on day 8, because normally the sprint review is the last day or last but one day. So there's still more time. So we thought we'll have 2 early views. That's what we have introduced. Then we come to the product backlog refinement. That's on day 5. Why day 5 is, it's kind of mid-sprint, the starting of the second week of the sprint. That's where we will talk with the product owner. I, as a Scrum Master, normally ensure that we have the view of what are the functionalities required from business perspective, at least for the next 3 months. So that is very good to have that pipeline view, and so that the team can be prepared and can pick up logically stories which bind to one another, rather than completely picking up the 2 things which are not at all related. So what we do in the product backlog refinement is, the product owner or the BA, whoever is writing the stories, come up and give a view on the business perspective of a story, or the set of stories which is mostly going to get picked up the next sprint. And the technical lead or the senior developers, they also give the technical walkthrough to the team, and any queries the team has, they can discuss them. And we normally do the estimation also in this call. So mostly based on the walkthrough, whatever they feel, they give a high level estimate during this session. So this session becomes extremely important for us to make the planning session, that is the day 1 of the next sprint, be productive and more clearer to the entire team. Then day 6, day 7 is weekend. I'm taking it that day 1 is a Monday. So day 5, where we did the backlog grooming, is a Friday, or you can even do it on day 8, that is the next Monday. 6 and 7, day 6 and 7 was a weekend, so we are leaving that out. Day 8, again, as I told, we have an other review. And day 9, normal daily stand-up goes on. No other ceremonies are taken care that day. Then day 10, normally we have the sprint review on day 11 or day 12, that is the last day of the sprint. But in our team, what I try to push is, if we have most of the stories covered, we try to have the sprint review at least 1 or 2 days before itself, because just to ensure that we have enough time to fix any issues if anything is coming up. If you're doing it on the last day, second half of the day, if you're having the review and if you get comments, where do the team go? I mean, how are they going to fix those comments, right? So that's why normally I tend to prefer to have it on day 10, sprint review. In case it's many of you may ask that there's still 2 days left in the sprint, mostly all the stories may not be covered. In that case, what we do is each story has a different business user. The business user, we ensure that the business user name or whoever has come up with that requirement, his name is attached in the user story in Jira itself. And whichever is not completed, those alone, we'll not be inviting them to this sprint review. Only for those 1 or 2 stories, we'll keep it on the last day, so that at least the rest of it, you don't need to wait for the whole chunk to get reviewed. And during the review, it's not just we showing a demo to them. I ensure that the review comments they give is captured, or if they're happy with our development, I request them and ensure that they are giving a comment in Jira story itself, because these days having mails for everything becomes very bulky. So in the story itself, it should have complete traceability, where the unit testing is complete, SIT testing is complete. The testers and developers have to write comments in the Jira story itself. And lastly, after the demo, the PO or the BA, they can give a happy to see sign off or something like that towards the end. So that's it. After the sprint review on day 12, day 11, again, nothing much. Or if there's any pending stories, we just take it up with that particular requirement user, whoever has created that requirement. And then last day is the sprint retro. As usual, we go ahead with what were our strong points, what did not go so well, where we can improve, and also come up with a CI backlog, that is continuous improvements. It's not just that you do this stuff, project stuffs you're asked to do and go home. The CI backlog becomes extremely important for your customers to feel that you are value adding. You're not just a secretary or just a development kind of team. You are walking them along and also suggesting improvements to them, which can help them in their business in the long run. So towards collaboration, towards extending your contract and all, this really helps. In our team, it was a contractual obligation itself, so we had to come up with CIs every sprint. So we also discussed the CIs which we can take up, and also discuss the status of the CIs which are already in progress. And not to forget, we also discussed the points which were noted in the previous retro, because the team has to feel that this ceremony is useful for them. You just note down everything and then just leave it there. Next time they may not even want to feel like come and tell you something. So what I would do is I jot down the various steps I have done from my side, or they have done from their side, just to give them a progress on the points which we discussed in the previous sprint. So that way they feel and they know that things are going to change because they have highlighted them. So these are the basic things that we do from the ceremonies perspective as a Scrum Master. Apart from this is not all, friends. We have not many things other than this that a Scrum Master does when he or she is not participating in the ceremonies. Some of them being like, I told you that we normally maintain a 3 weeks ahead pipeline to ensure this continuity in work and clarity on what we are going to do next. So how does the pipeline build on its own? So I as a Scrum Master has to connect with the product owner or the other business people and try to extract from them and understand what is coming up next so that we can have that pipeline ready. Only then can you have your pre-planning session or your backlog refinement sessions. So that is one very important thing. Other than that, I think all of us would have seen that none of the teams these days are standalone systems. You are consuming services from some other team or the other. Either it is internal to yours or it's a third party. So just see which of the stories have dependency on other teams in this sprint or the upcoming sprint, and discuss with them on their timelines when they can give the delivery. Because it happens, right? You think that they're going to deliver it at this point, and from there you are going to pick it up, but their understanding may be totally different. So we'll have to have a call with them and tell them that this is the go live date. So if you have to go there, backtrack, and by then this date minimum that you have to give it to us, only then we can achieve those timelines. So that kind of meetings as a Scrum Master I will have to facilitate. And any impediments the team has come up with, server is down, or they're not getting response from some database, anything like that, some day-to-day impediments keep coming up. These kind of impediments, normally once or twice I try to resolve. And after that, if it's something that keeps happening often, one, we try to brainstorm and see if we can get away with this altogether. But no, if it's not possible, if it's a third party team whose server is going down intermittently, we try to come up with an automation, a dashboard or something which tells us that this is down, and send a mail out to them or something like that. But yeah, these are long-term solutions. On a short term, I would also be very bored to keep sending them mails every other day saying that your server is down, server is down. So for that, as a Scrum Master, I don't think I need to interfere. I'll empower my team and give them the contacts on whom they have to connect with, and I see to it it becomes self-organized. So that's where I try to coach them to be a more self-organized team. Then other than this, I should also coach my team and ensure that they're transparent to me. I should know if they're having any challenges, both from professional or personal front also to some extent. So normally I tend to have at least one-on-one connect with one or two of them at least a week, about 15-20 minutes. We just tend to start that way, and sometimes it takes longer, but that's okay. So that's when you actually build a rapport with the team. They are not looking at you as some police or security kind of person whom they want to keep away with. It's not that way. So they take you as a buddy. So they're happy to share their concerns with you. Maybe many times that they are doing some job, but their aspiration is something else. So it just doesn't mean that I'll give them just solacing words and leave it at that. I keep it in my to-do list. When there's a chance, an opportunity for them to change, or I'll definitely do that. Or at least I'll give them some guidance on learning factors, like how they can move ahead. Because one example I can give is there was a tester who wanted to get into development, but she didn't have any development prior experience. So it's just because somebody says I like something, you can't ask, go ahead and give them that role. So what I suggested is you go on continuing your testing role. Along with that, you may have to put in some extra effort. I'll ask the other senior developers to guide you. You take small pieces of development work and start working on that. Let's see how it goes. If you're really interested, if you're doing a good job, then definitely it will get recognized. And then you'll actually have both the edges, both as a tester and a developer. You'll become more valuable to the team. Yeah, and it went really well, and she's one of the leads now in the team. So it really worked well. So when they feel that you are going to show them a career path or you'll help them grow, then they kind of respect you also. It's not just being said as a buddy. So they respect you also. And even from the appraisal perspective, if as a Scrum Master, I only have to do the appraisals for them because I'm working with them day in, day out. Many organizations do that. If that is the case, then also this one-on-one really helps, because nobody can come back in the last day and tell you that you didn't tell me any of these earlier in the cycle. You're just coming and telling I didn't do this towards the last day. What can I do about it now? So to avoid all these kinds of friction, better to have a coaching session one-on-one. And again, as a team, if you want to, if they're new to Agile, if it's a new team, you may have to bring in some team building activities, or giving them some Gyan sessions on Agile and how it will help them in their day-to-day work and things like that. Apart from that, knowledge sharing is extremely important. But if you just have sessions where one person goes on talking, the other one goes on listening, it just goes over the head. We all know that nobody wants Gyan. So as a Scrum Master, I'll have to come up with innovative learning and sharing sessions, sometimes hackathons, some crosswords, or just come up with a tale or a scenario like thing, and everybody collaborates in a video call and they give out answers, and you just do some brainstorming around it. So that kinds of energizes the team to learn more, to know more. So those kind of sessions also will be facilitated by the Scrum Master throughout the sprint. And not just our Scrum team. A Scrum team can be happy only if it is within an organization which is happy. So I will have to collaborate with other Scrum Masters from other teams and see what are the organization level Agile goals and what we have to do. Sometimes they come up at organization level, like Agile cafes or some kiosks, things like that. So how we are going to handle those things. So those kind of meetings are also going to be there. Other than that, conflict resolution, it's always there. When a lot of people are working together for longer periods of time, you can never say that nobody is going to disagree with the other. That will be there. It's healthy. It's fine. But as a Scrum Master, I need to ensure that it's not getting escalated. It's not going in the unhealthy way, which is affecting the team synergy and others in the team. So one major thing I would recommend is, if one or two people are having problems with each other, have a one-on-one with them. Try to understand what is the root cause, because it might be coming out in a different way, but sometimes it's mainly because they have other issues why they're trying to do that. Maybe they're trying to compete with each other for a promotion, or they don't want to do this job, so they're acting weird. It could be anything. So I'm not sure if I'll be really able to help them with their problem, but at least if you make them come out with it, it gives a lot of peace of mind, and you try to help them and say that when the time comes, I'll keep it in my mind. I'll definitely help you when I can, but please try to be more nicer to the other guy. So that will kind of help them. And there's no one rule for conflict resolution, as you all know. So it goes case by case. We have to handle that. Other than that, we have to also give our status updates to the senior management. There's no doubt about it. It's not just the customers and us. We have our organization senior management. We'll have to give them reporting on how the previous sprint went, how it's going now, any challenges we are facing, or any sprint goal we could not meet, why we could not meet, the continuous improvement part, how fresh it is, or how vibrant it is. Can we take it up? And if you also have operations or ops under you, how many tickets are we raising? How many are we closing? The SLAs and things like that. And last but not the least, L&D, learning and development. I think every organization is interested to know how the teams under them are learning through, because if learning stops, all of us become stagnant, right? So as a Scrum Master, I have to push people to take up internal trainings or any required external certifications, help them to get the reimbursements, whatever is required for learning and development. So those details also will be required from us to be reported, probably as a monthly deck or different formats, whatever format the senior management is expecting from us. Last but not the least, helping team, helping others, taking care of everything else is fine. But I also have to take care of myself, my learning. So please, I request all the Scrum Masters out there, to please keep some time for yourself, for your learning, for your growth. Only then you will also proceed with the others, right? So please be part of any discussions in LinkedIn, or there are a lot of agile coaches out there, just like Sunan. So we can take his guidance, anybody's guidance, or within your organization, you can form learning groups, be part of any brainstorming sessions, any webinars, anything, or any certifications if you feel is important. Just learn every day. That's all I can say. So yeah, these are the huge list of things that as a Scrum Master we need to do. So friends, please don't think it's a very easy task, or they don't get to do much. But there are a lot of things on our plate, and I'm happy to be doing that. And I think the other Scrum Masters who will be watching this video will be on the same page as I am too. Thank you. Thank you for this session. Thanks for giving me an opportunity from CareersTalk and to Sunan. Thank you.